back in the 1950s, when Psycho came out, Alfred Hitchcock had the studio issue a strict warning that nobody would, you can even see it on posters to this day, nobody will be seated after the first half hour of Psycho. There was a very specific reason for that, and I'm sorry I'm going to blow a major aspect of Psycho, but it came out half a century ago.
Turn the cameras up.
He was concerned, Hitchcock was concerned, that people were going to come in late, and they were going to turn to other people and go, "Where's Janet Leigh? Isn't Janet Leigh in this movie?" You know, because she was a major star of the time. It's like going to a Meryl Streep film and they put a cap in Meryl Streep's head in the first 10 minutes without telling anybody. You know?
Mamma Mia.
Right. I live in a house full of women, so I'm committed to say that I actually like Mamma Mia. Because, you know,
Even the movie?
Yeah. Well, no, I only saw the film. I have a hideous weakness for movie musicals. It's just, I know, what can I do? I make no bones about it. I have a hideous weakness for movie musicals. With the sole exception of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there's been almost no movie musical that I have not just found enjoyable in some way, shape, or form. Although I will admit, listening to Pierce Brosnan trying to sing ABBA, I did want to gnaw my leg off at the knee.
Part of the weakness, I assume.
Yeah, that was me trying to escape. But other than that,
Mamma Mia is a bear trap.
It's an audio bear.
That's the
yeah, but at any rate,
a bear trap.
And we're getting off topic. We're digressing, if you will. My point, and I do have one, is that Hitchcock wanted to make sure that that film was enjoyed the way he meant it to be, and that the people who were seeing it weren't having their enjoyment disrupted by people going, "Where's Janet Leigh? You know, isn't she in this movie?" I would love to see people be able to enjoy X Factor the way that I intend it to be enjoyed. And if that's selfish of me, well, you know what? It's my story. I mean, I think we've all been in situations where somebody, where something happened to somebody and someone says to us, "Oh, tell me about this," and you go, "It's not my story to tell." You know? X Factor is my story to tell. And people are paying so much for comic books nowadays that I think that there's not a single person who's willing to plunk down money for the book who doesn't deserve to have the story that they're reading enjoyed to the absolute maximum effect. And with the way that the situation is now, where you get all the information out there, it becomes impossible, or at least extremely difficult. And X Factor in particular is a book that, in order to be effective, has to have the shock value. It has to. And so, yeah, I was very vague. I didn't want to say, "This is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening." I don't want you to know. I don't want you to know until you sit down and read the book and get to certain points and go. And you know, if fans are anxious to see what's happening, they're anxious to know what's going to come up, I totally understand that. Totally understand that. What fans don't really seem to realize is that when I write the script, I'm anxious. I can't wait for you guys to read the book. I can't wait. I can't wait to see your reaction. I can't wait to see your responses. It's hard for me too, because, you know, I really want to see what people are going to say. But I really feel that the best way to do that is the way that God or myself,
You just yourself.
right, I said God or myself, it really is meant it to be. You guys deserve that. You guys deserve to have the story the best way that you can experience it. And so, yeah, that's why it was extremely vague. And I mean, I can tell you right now, if I told you everything was going to be happening, people would come flocking. They'd say, "Oh my God, I got to check that out. I've got to see that." Okay? So it may well cost me sales doing it this way, because people are saying I'm doing this because it's all about sales. No. If it was all about sales, I would tell you everything that's coming up, because you guys would be going, "Wow, I got to see that." It's all about having the story enjoy to maximum effect. So, you know, by all means, buy the book, read the book, but do, you know, try to avoid spoilers, or as I like to call them, ruiners. Because I don't think they spoil, I think they ruin us.
We're going to move on.
We're going to go spoil some
Yes, we're going to spoil. But just a quick question before we go. What's coming up in X Factor?
It's actually pretty exciting. When the baby's born,
Yeah.
the baby's black,
Oh,
which is a shocker for Madrox.
yeah.
And then basically, there's a big fight in the operating room,
Right.
and Wolverine shows up.
Now we're
Baby's
talking.
hand gets accidentally cut off and
man.
replaced with a harpoon.
Great.
Haven't you used that before?
That was another generation.
Harpoon trick.
Yeah. All right, let's roll on with our first section, which we like to call the stack. First thing we're going to talk about is Wolverine number 70.
Why are you handing it to me?
Yeah, you want to take a look at it?
I made it, I'll say right now, they asked if I would, you know, they said I'm welcome to talk about the various comics. I generally don't talk about comics that other people have done for the simple reason that I say stuff and it gets magnified or repeated and it's like turns, so if I say, you know, I wasn't particular, and I'm picking one at random because they happen to show it to me, I haven't even read it yet, is that, you know, I wasn't that blown away by this issue of Batman. It didn't sing to me. It becomes Peter David slams Denny O'Neil. You know, who needs this?
That's intense.
So, to start off, Peter David was speechless at the latest issue of Wolverine.
Yeah.
The rest of you.
Stone silence.
Think about it. The rest of you. What's that?
I'm very much enjoying the Old Man Logan arc. Surprise, surprise. But I think it's a cool thing to try to do with Wolverine. You know, he's known for his claws.
Make him even grittier.
For those of you who haven't been reading it, Wolverine, this is taking Wolverine some years into the future in a post-apocalyptic wasteland of the Marvel Universe. He's traveling across the country with a blind Hawkeye trying to deliver a package.
Try not to make it sound so dull.
I'd like to say that's Mark Miller.
But I feel like it's an interesting thing to take Wolverine into the future where he won't pop his claws, where he's had enough of violence and trying to live a life where he doesn't resort to that. What? So it's interesting.
Someone's not current.
Yeah. Kind of taking the teeth out of the character. I don't know, this, nothing happens in this issue, it's so bite-sized.
What do you mean nothing happens?
You
It's
know-
revealed why he doesn't pop his claws anymore.
Right.
That's something very important.
And
that happened.
Yeah.
In that book.
You realize he's sitting about 3 inches
Never saw me.
in your voice.
My ears shut down the 2 years we've been doing the show. No, but and that's a story, so he's sitting down and telling a story, and then you cut back
Well,
and
that's
he's
the
like,
nice thing about comics is it brings the story to life.
oh, excuse me. Thank you.
I'm between the two of you guys, I think, because I like this. I think, you know, Miller is doing a good job on this title. Steve McNiven's art is great. But
Fantastic.
the stories are too bite-sized at this point. One thing happens per issue, and that's pretty much it. So it's reading like teeny tiny little short stories that are part of a greater whole, and I think it's going to read very well in a trade. I know you hate me saying that, but it really is.
And some of the details are interesting. There's a nice twist in this, but there's no story structure. There's no arc to it. So you just, like, it's just like cotton candy.
It's almost like one sentence per issue.
Yeah.
No,
and then
that's-
it leaves you with some stupid cliffhanger.
No, that's ridiculous.
Like, at the end of this, there's a dinosaur that's part venom. And you're like, oh, that's really scary, I guess. But it came out of nowhere, and the next issue, they'll deal with that, and then it'll be like, oh no, it's a green goblin made of rocks, or something. It's like, oh god, what are they going to do?
No,
They'll beat
That's
that.
not a bad idea.
They've been setting up the dinosaur venom thing for a while. Like first couple of stories, you saw venom on the rocks. Then you saw a couple random dinosaurs.
Those are the rocks. They're going to
Venom on the rocks.
Yeah.
I'll have a venom on the rocks with a stick.
I like mine shaking.
So I don't know. This just doesn't do it.
I completely disagree with.
Would you say pick it up?
Yes.
Skip it.
No. I said pick